Well, welcome back to another Guns Contractors video. Today you're joining me on a backhoe job, another great backhoe job, and I'm working on some cricket nets. So basically, practicing cricket, you get these sort of lanes, cricket net lanes, and for practicing bowling, etc. And they're held up with metal posts, wires, tension wires, etc. Of which there were some old ones you can sort of see behind me. And my job is to remove the old nets and the old concrete that's down in the ground and replace them with some new nets, which are going to be much sort of longer, as I understand it. So I've got new holes to dig, I've got old ones to backfill, and I've obviously got this concrete to remove. Working on effectively finished turf. It's not great. It's early February because, you know, cricket season's coming. So trying to make as less mess as I can, not easy, and certainly stay off of the playing surface and the wicket, etc. So bit of a tricky job. Weather's against us, hasn't been easy 2024 this year, but this is the machine for the job, for sure, because I'm plucking this concrete out of the ground. Simple. So I'll show you how I get on and kind of some little things that I've learned to make it a bit easier for me. What I'm actually doing is pulling them out of the ground whole and then transporting them to an area where I can break them up for the muck away. So there is a reason for that. I know I can smash them up in the ground. To be honest, it'd probably take a little bit longer, and I have a bit of a noise restriction here with how much noise I can make in this area. So I'm going to take them to a different area where it's not such a problem. So that's why this is going on this way. But it seems to be pulling them out of the ground as lumps so far. So yeah, so I'll show you how I get on. So the key for me really is trying to keep the jack legs off of the grass. Obviously they just stamp a hole in it otherwise. So I'm kind of using the existing foundations that I haven't pulled out yet as my support for my near side leg, and then I can scoot this little track mat along to sort of keep under the other leg. That's been the plan so far. So I can just get hold of this little handle, pull her along, and then tuck her under my leg. Almost need low ground pressure grass tyres and much wider pads. Don't know if that's another modification that we can maybe make in the future, because I do a lot of this kind of work on sports turf and things, and you know, yes, a track machine would probably make a little bit less mess initially. You know, the ability to romp this down the road to this site and then start working essentially, you know, it's not been too bad. And yeah, it's been wet, but this ground's holding up pretty well. It's making more of a mess really getting them out of here, but you know, I'd have had to have had a dumper. I think a dumper would have made just as much mess anyway. So kind of, you know, it's going to be money somewhere. You've got to spend a bit of money when you do this kind of work. I think the reinstatement of this is going to be pretty easy. We'll run the verti-drain over it to decompact the soil where I've been. I'm keeping my tracks all in one place, which is like a verti-drain's like imagine a sort of spiker, but as it goes in, it twists the ground and sort of lifts it and aerates it. Quite a good bit of kit. So that'll get rid of a lot of the compaction that's been caused, and then top dress it out. And to be honest, in about 6 weeks' time, when we're looking to start the cricket season, you won't notice I've really been here at all. So that's good. So what I'm doing is I'm digging a little slot. Got a 9-inch bucket. Just digging a little slot down the side of the foundation just to give it somewhere to move. And then the biggest trick really with this machine is not pulling yourself towards it. These backhoes have got tremendous power on the back end, and obviously being sat on a track mat with 1 foot and a bit of grass and things, you know, it just pulls itself towards the object rather than pulling the object towards you. So, you know, it'd be nice if I could stab my front bucket in the ground for a bit of anchorage, etc. But it just, you know, you just can't do that here. So, got to kind of work with what we've got and just be a bit gentle. And what I'm trying to do is get these foundations to sit in a place so that I can pick them up with the front bucket. So I kind of want them just sat end up and a little bit squarer, so that when I come to them, they're sort of sat ready to grab as such. A little bit like that, really. Yeah, so that's the plan. Obviously, 22 of these I think we've got to do. So quite a few, and then I've got to put new sockets in the ground. Yeah, which will be got a lot of about a metre cubed around each one, so it'll be quite a big concrete pour. I plan to get a pump and pump it from where I can get the lorries to the road, obviously, because I do not want them on the grass. So yeah, that's going to be the plan. But I'll try and film as much of the project as I can as we go along. Yeah, that's currently the plan. See how we get on. Rain later this week, that could ruin everything. So we'll see. So I've grubbed up all the concrete now. That went pretty well, actually. Only took a couple of hours. It's not actually that bad. Certainly quicker than trying to break it out and then, you know, dig it out in situ. I've kind of got relatively square holes still. Haven't done too much damage to the ground, and I can hammer it where it's going to get picked up. And I've only got to break it into pieces that the grab will take away. So that's not too bad. Just tramping them out now from where I've hooked them up, which, yeah, I probably could have got, you know, multiple pieces in a dumper for sure, but I have to have another piece of equipment for that, and it doesn't actually take that long with the backhoe, really, just to grab them. Does help when they're relatively square and you've got them prepared like that. So yeah, kind of all in one. It's doing the job. I just have to, it's a bit of a long reverse, to be honest, which isn't great for your neck, but I don't know, they've just released reverse drive on these backhoes. Maybe one day we'll upgrade ourselves. Then you could literally spin around and then drive the entire thing in reverse, which would be probably hugely advantageous on jobs like this, where you try not to do too much turning, stay in your own ruts, etc. There you go. So yeah, that's currently the job that's on. And my plan is to have a bit of a tidy up in a minute. Get the grading bucket on, just knock the remaining soil back in the holes I've got, and then I can set out for the new holes. So 22 new holes to do. I've got some pins in already, which will give me my square, so at least I'm not having to rework out what's square and what's not. So you should be able to see my my pile of concrete here at the moment. Quite a pile, this. There's some absolutely monster bits. I'm amazed that it pulled it out. I'm not sure the front tyres enjoyed it too much, but did do the job. So that's the key with all of this. Just trying to get them all individually sat so that I can get them with the breaker. You know, I don't want them all. I don't want them all on top of each other because I won't be able to smash them up. So kind of all in lumps at the moment, but only another, I don't know, 6 more to do, 7 more. I've got 3 across the front here to dig out, which I haven't done because I obviously am currently tracking around there, and I don't want to fall in my own hole. And I'm trying to keep it fairly tight to the area that I'm working in. So that's the plan with that. So 3 more to dig out, and yeah, 5 or 6 more to bring round. But yeah, so I'm going to set out, get it all levelled up, just so I can pull tapes around, just make sure I'm square. These pins I've got on the corners should be pretty good because I used the old nets as a reference. I thought that was a smart decision, and they want them based off the same baseline, so they're just coming further forward. Bit of a strange thing, cricket. I don't really play it anymore. Used to at school, but not really properly. It's more of a rugby guy, but it's all done in yards, so you have to work out yards. Of course, I don't have a tape measure in yards, so you have to convert that to feet, which seems logical, because if you convert it to metric, you just end up with stupid numbers, which doesn't really work. So yeah, I think 66 feet, it would appear 22 yards as your stumps, which is pretty much what my nets are going to be. And yeah, I know what I'm up to there, so that shouldn't be too bad. I've done the conversions now. So yeah, that'll be the next stage of this, really. And then I can I'll get the hammer out later when it's less of an issue to make a bit of noise and smash these bits up. And the grab guy can take them at any time, really. They're not in the way of anything, so that's not too bad. And my plan is going to try, before the rain tomorrow, try and get these holes dug. Because if I can get that achieved, then I could potentially be in a position where I could be setting my sockets in the ground. I've got like metal sockets, they're nearly 1 metre deep. I could be setting sockets in the ground to, tomorrow, which is a job I could do if it's a bit wet and doesn't require quite so much tramping about with the machine. So that's my thinking with that. But we'll see how we get on today, I guess. It's not doing too bad. It's just gone 11 o'clock. But I've got to set out yet, so, and we'll see. I might end up with more material as well than I think, and then I'll have to tramp that away, which will take a bit more time. Rather than it all going in the old holes, because some of the holes I think are going to be where the old, well, some of the new holes will be where the old holes are, and some of them, because the centres are different, are going to be outside of that. So it's going to be a little bit of a messy dig in places, because you won't get a nice clean hole, sadly. But we'll do what we can, and see how it gets on. The ground's holding up all right at the moment. It's making it a little bit muddy, but it's not sinking, which I think is key. And it won't take long. I mean, the rain will wash off a lot of this little surface mud, and what's not, we can top dress up easy enough. And it'll look all right for the cricket season. It's always difficult to know when to do this kind of work, really, because you'd like to do it in the summer, but obviously that's when they want to use them. So you have to be fairly flexible with it. Just do what you can and make the least mess. Yeah, not always easy for a rubber type machine, but we're not doing too bad here.